Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Episode 3.
Okay.
We're recording. So
should we
That's
it.
the show. That's the intro. And you are listening to Rock and Roll Brunch. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We've done it. Episode 3. The trilogy has come. We are here. My name is Josh Marcanti. With me, as always, my two wonderful co-hosts, Mr. Dane Erbach. Dane, how are you, buddy?
I'm pretty tired this morning, not gonna lie.
I went to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning.
What?
And it's
what? Why?
What was I doing? Oh, you know, Ocean's 11. I was on Netflix and it said, "Hey, Ocean's 11 is leaving on February 28th," and I was like, I haven't watched that movie in a while.
So you stayed up to watch Ocean's 11, which is
Well,
for
so here's what happened. Here's what happened. I was like,
not going away for 3 weeks.
So hold on. Here's what happened. I started watching it and I was like, oh wait, I remember this movie. Oh, this, and then it just hooks you and it keeps you going.
It's such a good movie. Don't get me
With
wrong.
me also today is Mr. Chris Marcanti. Chris, how are you, buddy?
I went to bed on time. We watched Back to the Future last night.
That is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's we're doing like 100 movies for the year or whatever list, and last night was Back to the Future. Last weekend was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So we're just making our way through good movies.
Very cool. I have a surprise for you guys. Check this out. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom!
Oh, wow.
Oh, I see it. It took me a second to see it.
That took you way too long.
Wait, what is it?
Yeah. It's a poster.
I know,
but
but
logo.
Is it like a screen printed poster, or like just a regular?
No,
print?
it's just you can literally you go to FedEx and say, "Hey, print this out."
I love it though. That's awesome.
Just on a piece of paper. Okay, all
right. Dude, we should silk screen some posters. That would be badass.
Well,
like 3 colors.
That would be super.
If the people demand it, I'll be happy to do it.
This is where on a regular podcast somebody would be like, "Go to our Patreon," and so I mean,
Yeah, and not so fast there, Speedy Gonzalez. Dane, what are you drinking this morning?
I'm drinking regular coffee, like boring coffee.
What kind? I mean, did we have this conversation last time?
Yeah, we have. I don't know what brand it is, to be honest. It's just whatever Emily bought at the store. I did buy a new coffee maker, and it's not coming until tomorrow. And it's not a fancy. It is expensive coffee maker, but it's not like a fancy like European one. It just has a coffee maker and a Keurig connected to it as like one thing. So yeah, that's not that exciting. I'm sorry, guys.
It's really not that exciting.
I know. That's what we signed up for.
Actually,
me on.
Can I tell you? I think I even regret asking. Chris, what are you drinking this morning?
I'm drinking Big Shoulders coffee.
Oh, okay.
It's a Chicago roaster.
All right, very nice.
Tastes like coffee.
Very nice.
Yeah, I don't put anything in it in the morning, so I'm like
it's a little rough.
Trying to find a coffee that's very good as a standalone drink.
There you go.
But yeah. What are you drinking, Josh?
Thank you for asking.
Somebody has
I 2 weeks ago we stopped in the city to pick up a new office chair for me.
Story.
I know, and I stopped in Collectivo Coffee, and I picked up their Blue Healer coffee, and it might be the best coffee I've ever had in my life. It's so freaking good that like I'm gonna pay stupid money to have them ship it to me directly. I'm really enjoying it. I meant to what?
We talked about it. You order me a bag. I'm making fun of you, but I'll take a bag.
Order me a bag. Yeah, I'll order you a bag. I'll get you a bag. There was, one thing I forgot to talk about last time. I meant to ask you guys, what have you been listening to that is unrelated to our record review for today? Chris, go.
I've been listening to I can't remember the name of the band.
Oh, so. Cool, man. Let me ask Dane then.
That was like my last coffee answer. So this is all kind of very symmetrical.
I know. I didn't warn you. So this is the kind of answer we get. Dane, what have you been listening to, buddy?
I've been kicking back into doing a lot of writing, so I've been finding a lot of instrumental music.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I found this band called Still Motions, whose music I really like.
Mm.
Very like explosions in the sky ish and all that. There's some like strings and stuff too, though, and so I've been really enjoying that. At home on my turntable, the Mandalorian soundtrack is pretty much not left. And
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, and I have a picture disc of it that I found at Walmart for like considerably less money than it should be, and considering that it's all sold out everywhere. And I told my brother to get it for me for Christmas, and yeah, it's a good soundtrack.
wow, that's impressive.
Everything I've heard on that soundtrack has sounded like just nice. What's the name of that band though that you were saying?
Still
The
Motions.
Still Motions. Okay,
Yeah, they
cool. Because
released a new song recently, but I haven't really listened to that. I've been trying to listen to I think it's a 2019 record called Mirrors, I think.
you
2020.
know
Is it
me
called?
and
It's
in
called.
explosions.
Yeah.
So
It's called
I'm gonna hop. I'm gonna
I've
jam.
got some
I'm gonna jam into it.
recommendations for you. It's been a rabbit hole I've tumbled down a lot lately.
Well, there you go.
I
Look,
I
go
remember
ahead,
mine. I remember
Chris.
mine.
Wow, from the
I
back of
know.
the class.
Yeah. This coffee is not kicked in yet. It's a band called Sundressed, and they
Okay.
had a record come out last year called Home Remedy. Dane, do you know this
Mm-hmm.
band?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah. They
I'm.
I think I'm
I'm
more familiar
obsessed
with
with them.
their first couple records because right when I was started getting into Take This to Heart Records, that record label, I think they
Yeah.
released a couple songs on there, and I was really into those. So yeah, they're good.
I'm obsessed with this record. I just it's like I was saying to Josh that it's got like kind of they make it easy to listen to because there's like really big hooks, and then in each of the songs there's like a weird. There can be like a challenge to it. To you're like, is it? Am I into this part? Is this bridge like interesting enough? Or interesting in like different. I'm obsessed with the album. I think it's so good.
um,
What are
Dane,
you
you might.
listening to, Josh?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So Dane, you're gonna find. Dane, you're gonna find this interesting. So this kind of relates to it's going to transition to our next topic real quick here, but I was listening to a couple playlists and a band came up and I was like, oh shit, this is really good. And I was really surprised. It was Kali Masi.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever listen to them?
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I feel like this band kind of skipped me by, and I was like, who is it? And I was like, the name was instantly recognizable, and I was like, I've never listened to their stuff. So they had a new record come out called Wind Instrument, that I've been like,
Is it out yet?
it is out, yeah.
Wait, Wind
And so
Instruments, their older one, isn't it? And their new one that's coming out is shoot.
I'm sorry. That's correct.
Their new,
I went backwards and had been jamming that. Their new one that just came out.
It's called Laughs. And
yeah,
it doesn't-
yeah.
I don't think
And
I don't
Yeah.
think it's out yet. I don't think it came out yet.
there's a few singles though.
There was like a few
Yeah.
singles on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was on that playlist. So anyway, I've been going backwards. Sorry, I've been going backwards and listening to their stuff, being like, oh, okay, well, this is something I really enjoy. Speaking of playlists and algorithms, that's going to bring us to our first story
Nice.
for. I know, right? That's like I'm a
That's
pro.
why you're the host. I shouldn't
why
have
I'm
said
the
what I said.
host.
I shouldn't have said what I said.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the respect that I deserve.
You
It's
should
going to bring us to our first story of the day.
Shouldn't
I
have
know.
left.
The title of the article we're going to talk about today is What TikTok Tells Us About the Future of the Music Industry. It was brought to us by Richard Yao over at medium.com. So just to jump right in here, the article kind of talks about obviously, the future of music, but specifically how TikTok plays in with that, and how TikTok has become really the way by which young people are connecting with music again, and really making it a personal thing. Chris, give me your thoughts. What initial thoughts on this? On this notion that TikTok is going to be the way that that people reconnect with their music. What was some of your thoughts on this article here?
Yeah, I thought from that perspective, it was a very interesting argument to make about like the idea that the way for that people are re-engaging with music when having a physical piece of it is no longer an option, or I don't want to say an option. Sorry, Dane. It's no longer a popular sorry, Dane. It's no longer a uh
Sorry,
you
Dane.
know that sorry, Dane. The just the idea that like creating something using music like a video or dance or whatever is a way that people are engaging with music and make them care about music again. I thought that was an interesting argument. I'm not
Yeah.
sure I buy it necessarily, but
Mm.
I thought that was a interesting way to pose it from this guy, from the author's perspective. I don't know, Dane, what do you think? Do you think that's
Well,
true?
wait.
Oh,
You
go
said
ahead, Jeff.
you had you kind of hit on something that you don't necessarily agree with. That. What do you mean? You don't
um
agree that that TikTok could be a way that people connect with their music. What do you mean?
Well, I don't necessarily agree in the way that he made the argument. The idea that like people are creating videos and they have to
Yeah.
select music for those videos and like make a dance and hit the beat drop when you're doing their dance well or whatever. That is the way that people are sort of re-engaging with feeling passionate about music rather than it constantly being in the background.
Is that because you don't create your own dances to music?
Yeah, surprise! I create a lot of my own dances
Allison,
on
we
TikTok.
know this, but
Yeah,
oh,
I'm a bit of
I
a dancer. I'm a phenomenal dancer. We all know this. There's no argument here.
so I think I disagree with that. I mean,
I'm okay
you
with you
know,
disagreeing.
yeah, I think he specifically said injects a sense of personal agency back into their music
Sure.
consumption.
Yeah.
Was
I don't
the
think I
was the,
agree with that.
I can see how you know hearing a song and then like creating a dance to it or creating a I forget what it's called oh, this makes me 100 years old. The duet. Oh, thank
Duet,
goodness.
nicely
The
done.
duet. Yeah,
Yeah.
creating the duet to it and really like cementing that as, occupying a brain space for a specific song. I don't understand how that couldn't create agency
You,
within a song.
I think that's probably not a bad argument in that like in those specific instances where artists are going like, "Hey, help me write this song."
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. But do
Mm.
I think that going like all my friends are doing this dance and now I have to do this dance with this song is going to translate in me into listening to lyrics and actually like feeling and being moved by music?
Yeah.
I don't
Mm.
think that that's
Dane, what do you think? Where are you at with this one?
Um, so in terms
right.
of what you
You're
just
at a lot.
said, Chris, I agree with you. I don't think this is a more meaningful way of connecting to music. And again,
He's a
and
winner. Big winner.
Josh, though, I agree with you when you say it might just be because I'm not dancing to like 30-second clips of my favorite songs or songs
Right.
that are popular on TikTok. Because of course, I have I, logically thinking here, most people who are making TikTok videos and putting their favorite songs in them are probably not putting their favorite songs in them. Are probably picking the songs that are popular on TikTok because they're trying to play the algorithm, right? And trying to get more views and all of that. So,
Yeah.
so all that said, I there's this. I think the big idea of the article comes in the very end in that tiny little paragraph at the bottom where he says TikTok is just one manifestation of the larger trends in digital creativity as it becomes increasingly democratized and participatory. And that part I think is really fascinating because what it seems to suggest is that more people are engaging with music. It's just they're doing it differently than ever. Um, so like the way I guess this begs this interesting question is like what's the thing that's different, why in what way is it more participatory, is it just the dancing? And I feel like in the 1950s there were lots and lots of kids dancing to rock and roll music and everyone had a new dance and it went like this. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
it
Yeah.
doesn't that doesn't feel like I mean it doesn't feel like a new way of interacting with music. I mean, we all know the cha-cha slide came around also. um
Yeah, you literally, you can think of like the electric slide
yeah,
or like the, like
like
Saturday Night Fever, like that kind of thing, or you can like go throughout. throughout the musical history of like the twist and
Yeah,
like
right, totally.
these songs that have stood the test of time because they can't. I mean, I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were talking about Soldier Boy, and
Huh. Mm,
they were
yeah.
like, is Supermaning something that is a thing, or is it just from that song? And they're like, I think he just came up with it for the song, and
Yeah.
that really made it, one of his most popular songs. So,
I mean, and I
um,
guess that's what I mean is like TikTok didn't, or whatever it was called before it was TikTok, right? Yeah.
musically,
Um,
yeah,
it didn't create
Fine.
this like come up with a dance to a song thing. It just made it really easy to share. Um, and so I guess with this article, I've been thinking of if TikTok is the manifestation of music trends and where we're going, what does that mean about where we're going? And I
mm,
guess I don't know if it's a real good thing. That's just my opinion because it feels like we're going in the direction of the songs, like the songs that people on social media like the most, um, is going to become a weird echo chamber and get boosted way more than other
yes,
music, and that
yeah,
only 30 seconds of that song is going to become an echo chamber.
that's true.
Like
Yeah, that's
it's
very
not
true.
going to be the whole song. It's not even going to be, like especially not an album, right? It's just going to be one song that becomes popular enough for other people to want to put it in theirs because they want to
I
get
think
clicks. So it's going to be even more popular.
I think that's been a thing for a while now. I just noticed I'm peeking a little bit, so let me pull it back. There we go. I think that's been a thing for a while now, which is the like, for a whole generation, kids have been like, yeah, I like that song. Dane, you can probably speak to that better than most, where like kids don't really care to deep dive into albums. Some will, but or young people, not necessarily kids, but won't deep dive into a record. They just like that one song. But that the echo chamber part was the part that I really hit on. You said, is it a good thing? The one thing I think is probably a really good thing is how and I'm really just trying to fight the old manness in me, but I do
Hmm.
think the one thing good thing is, seriously, um is taking what I like is that it takes away the power from those algorithms, right? So the idea that Spotify says, hey, here's a playlist, and by the way, we were paid to put you on here, and it's generated from an algorithm we created, so that's how you get popular. That this takes it out of that hand and just goes, hey, here's a song is popular, maybe because of that, but maybe also because it just had some more genuine legs to it. Chris, you look like you got something to say about that.
Well, two things. The first is to touch on Dane's thing, and they talk about it a
I
little bit in
want
the
you to touch
article.
on my thing.
I will in a second. But they talk a little bit about in the article of like the introduction of iTunes and streaming basically disconnected the album from the song. Where now like you
Right,
can listen to a
right. That's
song.
what I'm saying. Yeah, it's
Yeah, and what's going to be insane is when people start writing music for not even 30-second clips. It's just
mm.
15-second clips. It's a hook and a drop, a beat drop, so that way there's a build up and a drop, so that way people can do some sort of dance to it.
And I
And
think
I
he
think
mentioned
it'll
that in the article too. Yeah.
yeah, and I think to Dane's point, specifically for TikTok, I think it'll end up changing the way that people write music a little bit, is because they're going, I only need 30 seconds. I only need it to be popular on TikTok, and I need to make sure that it steps up in a certain way and drops down in a certain way. So like now you're living in kind of a weird confined space, which I think is that part of the old man of me, to your argument of like, oh, we're just gonna write 15-second clips. I'm like, don't do that. Just write music. Like, but
But also, like, hasn't a form of that been going on for generations? Which is like, hey, if we make this song 2.5 minutes
yeah.
and follow the trends of whatever's going on, we know we're going to get some radio play. Maybe that'll drive people to the rest of the record sale.
For sure. And I think the argument the author was making was that the song started off as a 10-minute song, and it's progressively throughout the decades just gotten
Hmm.
shorter and shorter and shorter because of technology. And to me that whitewashes or that washes over rather um music. Like when you're just making into these small little manipulatable clips, it defeats the purpose of it
Yeah.
a little bit. The other thing I thought was interesting, and actually bummed me out a little bit, is how music, and I think part of his argument was like music is now just that piece of content, and how do you take that piece of content and make more pieces of content out of it, so
Mm.
that and you hit various different things, TikTok, Twitch, live streaming, merchandise. It stopped becoming about like you put out an album and it's good for the sake of being good, when now you put out an album and it has to be a brand that can go on 30 different websites in various different formats. I just thought that was like so TikTok now is just becoming that one piece of the equation, where music used to just be like, here's a record, put it out on iTunes or whatever, and now it's like, here's the record, but I also got to make a Instagram story out of it, and a
For
Facebook
sure.
post, and a
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're
Pinterest
saying.
post, and a TikTok thing, and a
Yeah.
blah blah blah, so you hit as many people as humanly possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that goes along with like part of what I was getting at earlier about like how TikTok is just one way that it's like one way that music has changed. It's just as the manifestation of the byproduct of the way the music has been headed for like the past 5 years, maybe even longer, past decade or something. Um, I think a big point of the article too, and this kind of circles back, Josh, to what you were saying, is talking about the algorithm. Um, I don't know that the algorithm uh, is a good thing. Josh, I think what you're saying is that it democratizes things a little bit. So like songs that might not have
Yep.
found an audience can on TikTok, just because like
Right.
people
A
can pick.
meme. A meme was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I agree with that, but I also think this is radio syndrome still, where when we were growing up, like people listened to the radio and just kind of liked whatever they liked. Like I remember sitting on the bus my freshman and sophomore year of high school, listening to like Goo Goo Dolls songs pop up all the time, or like just the crappiest lame rock music of the early
Right.
2000s, late 90s, and thinking like, why are we who's enjoying this?
Who's enjoying this?
And looking across the bus, and by the way, the Goo Goo Dolls can be very good, but like Slide wasn't a good song, you know what I mean? Like, in my opinion.
No.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know
Doesn't
what you
matter.
mean.
Oh, you
Sorry.
should probably listen. You should do a deep dive.
Nah.
I'm
It's too late.
okay. We could talk
It's
about
too
this
late.
later. We could talk about this
A
later.
deep
Too
dive
late.
into Goo Goo Dolls.
Too
Yeah.
late.
Hey, you heard it here first, and you're going to be eating crow in a little while. But that's
Cut to me on my phone.
I'm gonna write down the
G
words
O O.
slide.
What am I doing? G O D.
Slide?
I don't. What is
Slide.
this?
All right, I'm going to change your mind in a little while, but just to keep my point here, I remember thinking like, who's listening like to these songs and like enjoying them, because it was this really crappy era of radio rock that I remember thinking like what are we doing here? But looking across the bus and seeing all of the other freshmen and sophomore kids on the bus with me, like just like really grooving to it, and thinking like
Popping their
it's
heads to it,
too it's too goddamn early in the morning for me to be like listening to like I don't know, the Goo Goo Dolls. But I think that
Sure.
TikTok is the same, and so listening to my students, who, God, I hope are not watching. If they are, why are you watching me on a screen now when you spend all week doing it anyway? But anyway, the thing is like my students on TikTok, like they come in and tell me about the songs that they found on TikTok all the time. It seems to me like the same sort of thing. People are listening to or enjoying what's on TikTok because it's what's fed to them right on TikTok, not because it's a music discovery tool. If you're a creator, you might
Sure.
be doing a little bit of discovering. But I kind of
That's
feel
it.
like
I think it's the creators catching that newest
sure,
trend.
but
Yeah,
then I
not
think
necessarily
it's like,
them.
let's
Yeah.
grab the popular thing so we can regurgitate it to get more clicks. Like the whole like to get more clicks part of this, to keep to keep myself relevant online, the creating my own image and brand on social media thing, like all of that it has made it so that this is all the same as it's always been. Like just listen to whatever
I
music
like
you
I like
think is
ending.
fun.
Yeah, I like ending there. I
Oh,
do like ending there, where it's
don't.
just
We're not ending there.
well, no, we're gonna end there.
No, we're not gonna.
What?
I want to hear from
Because
Chris.
yeah,
I want to fight.
yeah. That's I just very quickly. I think Josh and I, we play in a cover band. We play oldie songs. We play like punk version of oldies songs. And I was saying to Josh, like, it makes sense from that perspective, especially when you're an oldies band, to like put your music on TikTok. You never know when some kid is gonna find one of your songs because they were looking at, they heard their parents listen to Temptations. They thought that might make a cool TikTok song. They type in Temptations, and then there's this like, punk rock version of Temptations. I just don't know if that translates into people going to find our band and then listening to like an album
Mm.
of the stuff that we put out, buying merchandise from us. I don't
I bet.
know if that viralness actually translates into helping bands. And my question is for Dane specifically, like thinking of the process in that way, you never know how a band's going to get discovered. I think it's easier for a cover band to get discovered in that way than it is probably an originals band. But do you tell your bands then, like, hey, it makes sense for you to put your music up on TikTok?
We upload all of our songs so that they are available on TikTok for people to grab if they want to.
Mm.
Mm.
So like, yeah, it's there. However, I'm not sure TikTok. One of my bands is uploading like performances, like acoustics versions or like practice videos from practices onto TikTok, just to see how it goes. It's a bit of an experiment. Um, but I don't know that that's the platform for a rock band to find its audience. I think that's the
Mm.
platform for a mumble rapper on SoundCloud to find its audience. Um, at least
Josh does good
right now,
mumble raps.
I've heard them; they're really
Yeah.
good.
Josh does really good mumble raps.
Uh,
No, the reason
I've
I
heard.
wanted to ask
I've
that
heard them. They're really good.
because I'm really interested in the this like complete divergence of all this shit is really cool and people can do cool shit with it, but it basically ends up meaning that like original smaller bands get edged out of almost every one of these
of
things.
course, yeah.
They're
The
not going
era
to find their
for
way into being, yeah.
I was just gonna say the era for
But his.
smaller bands to like release music and find its audience is over. Like it
The-
ended in the '90s, like when like with like the hop to CDs and major labels scooping up indie bands. Like I mean, and of course, major labels were scooping up indie bands in the '80s and '70s and stuff too. But my point is more like you could start a major label in like the late 1980s, and you could make 500 copies of a 7-inch with like one song on each A and B side for like like $600. You could sell it all out and make like $3,000, and we're going to record the next band or whatever. I mean, like it, but because of the internet, there was only one way to release that music. Now and this is of course the big idea of the article. Now there are so many ways that music makes its way out there. Um, it's
but
yeah.
my argument is that less and less of those ways are relevant to small bands.
Yes, absolutely.
That's my point.
And they're and not even relevant. They're kind of closed off to smaller
Well, yeah.
artists. Like the
Yeah.
and I don't even mean that like someone has closed the door in their face as much as I mean like the system isn't designed for smaller bands, other than really lucky bands to find their audience, or bands that would be poached by a major label because they got really popular on SoundCloud or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to summarize there too, it's a good point that if you're a smaller band, TikTok is you could shoot for the moon and go for it there, but it's just not. It's still not going to be the way that you're going to get, um, the popularity, the recognition that you're looking for sure.
Bandcamp, on the other hand, might be.
Well, Bandcamp, and to be honest, like I've been discovering a lot of music through playlists lately, and maybe they're not the biggest, but they're like maybe mid level or something like that, and it's just it's just a matter of following the right person and following somebody that has a similar taste or something like that. So that's interesting. I want to move on for the sake of time. So that's going to bring us to our record review for today. Oh, Chris, you turd.
I have a one-word review.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, it's a shit
so,
sandwich.
So the
How could
review
you
we're
print
gonna
that?
go. All right, the review we're gonna go over today is the latest by Weezer, which is called "Okay Human." All right, so I think we're gonna go compliment sandwich. This is just a guess. We're gonna go compliment sandwich. I'm actually gonna start this one off.
Get us, Josh. Get us in there.
Come on now. So here's what's weird about this record. I do consider myself a Weezer fan. I've been a Weezer fan since I kind of started getting into music. Obviously, like Blue Album, Pinkerton was kind of really formative for me, and so on and so forth. What I kind of realized is that I love this podcast because it forces me to listen to things I might not otherwise listen to. And when cracking open this record, I was like, there's been 5 records of Weezer that I just missed or didn't listen to. They kind of just straight up fell off my radar. I think the last one I listened to was like Hurley, which I think Rock and Roll Brunch also reviewed, 7, 8 years ago or whatever it was now. So in listening to this record, where I landed was initially loved it. On the first, second listen through, I was like, man, this is so different. I'm such a sucker for that operatic sound. I also consider myself like a big Queen fan. So when it kind of had some of those like leanings, I was like, yeah, this is really speaking to my tastes, especially because it still sounded like Weezer to me. Um, the more I listened to it, the more I was like, uh, um, I like, and specifically, like, there were things that I like had real problems with, uh, like, um, like how the song "Dead Roses" is just Beatles, "Yesterday," like a straight up, like to the point of like, hey guys, can you do this? Like, is this okay? Can you
Is
just
nobody gonna
rewrite?
say anything?
Can you rewrite the all like is this copying or is this an homage or is this okay? Like some things, despite like the fact that it was more complicated, on the other also hand felt like a little lazy to me. Like um lyrically, yeah, okay. Lyrically, I was like, did he run out of things to write about? Like
Do you
he's
guys
writing
know
about
how he
his.
does the lyrics?
No, I'd love to know. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, get in there when we get there. So maybe that'll change my mind on some stuff. And then lastly, there were some songs that I just straight up like skip every time, where it was like, "Here Comes the Rain," Bird with a Broken Wing." I'm like, skip, skip. I don't. It's just boring to me. Uh, that and this Alu Gooby. I'm probably saying that wrong. And Grapes of Wrath have the exact same intro.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't notice, like it's just like dum 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 psh,
Oh,
like
I noticed.
it's the exact same intro twice in a row.
Yeah.
That said, I really the front half of this record I really did enjoy, and I still continue to enjoy. Like some of those got earwormy for me, really stuck in my head, and really was still enjoying them.
The number of times
Um,
I've called you this week and that you've been singing those songs at me. It was actually
yeah,
more than I was thinking was going to be a
yeah.
thing.
So yeah, ultimately, like I think this record lands like somewhere in the middle for me. Um, Even the title is like "Okay Human" is obviously like a play on "Okay Computer." It's like where I'm like, that feels lazy. I'm like, I don't know. Some I'm like, so I think for me it definitely lands somewhere in the middle on my charts. Chris,
Dane, I want to hear. I want to hear
no,
about
no, no,
how.
compliment sandwich, compliment sandwich.
Oh, well, my one word review is unlistenable.
Correct. This is
That is-
got him, got him.
I listened to it all the way through the first
One time.
and I was like, which, by the way, it's really hard to like, because I listen to music while I'm working, and I'm like, okay, it's really hard to like do and get fired up for work when you're like,
You're,
it's
but
like-
you're,
yeah.
okay, but you are, I would say, probably the three of us the least Weezer fan.
Well,
Is
and
that
I was,
accurate in saying?
yeah, 100%. And I think
Okay.
I was going to intro it
So
by
you're coming
saying
from that place, yeah.
it's been a years long tug of war where I've been trying to get you and Dane to not like Weezer, and there's
A
been
year?
it's been continuity between the years of like, guys, come on, let's
Come
just
on.
stop.
We're not
this is
still
an
with
active
Weezer, are we?
pursuit of yours is to not get us to like.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of time on his hands.
In my notes, it says, "Now's your chance."
That's really good.
Yeah, I just, and then I went to go listen to it a second time to be like, all right, and then I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. It
What?
like
What
Because
about it
first of all,
specifically is like quote unquote unlistenable?
I think if you take at face value, Rivers Cuomo is writing cool songs. Like the songs have cool parts to them, they have
Yeah.
cool hooks to them, and then you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is happening right now? And it's like, and every time it got me, and I don't the uh God, I'm listening
All right, moving on.
yeah.
Dane. I'm kidding. I'm
I
kidding.
mean,
I'm kidding.
I'm just rambling, but at the point
Yeah.
of it's like, my wife's upstairs. I have to get back on these Zoom calls. I'm like,
My kids are. Everyone's watching
dude,
screens.
you
Here's a
just
book I'm reading. I like my piano.
and Dane's gonna tell me I didn't look far enough into the song to
Nope,
get the meaning out of what's happening.
won't
But I
tell
was
you
just like, I can't. I can't listen to this. This is like a Facebook post from a 60-year-old woman saying
Yeah.
like, "This is what I did with my day." I couldn't do it. I legitimately couldn't do it.
Yeah. Do you? Quick question before we move on. Do you think that you had a predilection to not like you hopped in this going like I'm probably not going to like it, and then you were just reaffirmed?
Almost certainly. I mean,
Okay.
I'm
All
not
right.
going to say that I'm enlightened enough to go like, here's my chance to get into Weezer. It's more of like,
This is the
here
one, baby.
they told me I needed to listen to this. I don't want to. What a waste of 40 minutes.
All right, Dane.
All right, so a couple of quick thoughts as context. Thought one is that if you have not listened to the episode of Song Exploder, it's a podcast that's about
Mm.
rivers. You should do that
I
this
watched.
weekend.
I watched that show on Netflix.
I haven't
Song
seen the
Exploder.
show, and I really want to.
It's good. It's really good.
It started as a podcast, and the episode with Rivers is neat because it outlines how what his songwriting process is like now.
I'm definitely gonna listen to it.
It's pretty weird because it involves him thinking of these small phrases or ideas for lines that he likes. They could be single words or they could be short phrases, and he puts them into a spreadsheet. And
Oh boy,
then the spreadsheet, like while he's songwriting, the spreadsheet
you're so
spits
disgusted.
out, like he'll ask like for like certain lines or words with certain amounts of syllables to kind of end a line with or end a chorus with or something. He labels them, I think, by mood or something sometimes too. So a lot of his lyrics, he'll be the first to tell you they literally don't make sense. They're not really supposed to make sense. They're just supposed to be a thing in there to keep the song going. So essentially, now I may have gotten this wrong in a couple years.
Well, that makes me like it even less.
Yeah, it's been a couple years, but I think that's the gist of it. That said, yeah, his lyrics aren't that meaningful anymore. Even when you see meaning in them, you have to kind of question now, like, was that just the spreadsheet that he was working on, right?
That's a great way.
Yeah, it is what it is. The other thing that's worth commenting on is that they had recorded like a heavier record. I don't know if you guys know this. Like they've been in the process of trying to release this Van Weezer record.
Yeah,
Again, is a whole nother, calling it Van Weezer is a whole nother thing, right? The single from it, though, I actually kind of liked, and I'm kind of looking forward to hearing them play actual rock music again. But they put it off because of the pandemic, so they had time to record this thing, which they had been in the works for a while. And yeah, anyway, so that's part of the context of this. So all that said, as a Weezer apologist, as a person who has really found something to love in almost every Weezer record, except for Ratitude, I just couldn't enjoy at all. And even though it was kind of a rock album, and their Black album that came out a year or two ago was just the worst. I can't like it at all. Like I really found myself coming around to this record, and and I want to explain why. The thing that I've always liked about Weezer is like I feel like their songwriting is instantly identifiable. Like even when they're pulling,
I agree with that.
Even when they're pulling like melodies and stuff from other kind of styles and other sort of bands and genres, and like like you said, like what was it? Dead Roses feels a lot like a like that Beatles song. Yes,
No, it's a no, it's not a it's a I mean,
it's the
and
same
the melody is the same.
Josh is cracking this case wide open.
song.
Because
No,
I've been listening to a lot of
I'm not
I've been listening to a lot of music while shoveling because it's been snowing so goddamn much.
Yeah.
And so I'm just listening to it, and it like made me stop, and I go, and I was singing yesterday while he was singing Dead Roses, and I'm like, this is a straight up copy.
Yeah. Here's
I
the
mean,
thing.
I'm surprised that he's
Robin
getting
thing.
away with it.
I mean,
It's the same melody.
listen, if you go back and listen to the Blue album, you'll hear a lot of the Beatles there too. And if you listen to Pinkerton, you'll hear, like he's wearing
Sure.
his influences on his sleeves for sure. The thing is, though, is that Rivers has this songwriting style, the way like chord progressions go, and that's what I've always liked about them. It's kind of hard to explain them. They kind of like what this songwriting style is, and I tried to do it when I was in college, and I wrote a couple papers about them, and I don't know if it landed right, but there are some songs that I feel like I feel like they're great Weezer songs. Like I love Alu Gobi or whatever that song is. The second song,
It's
love it.
I actually do like it.
did you
Yeah,
did
it's
you
a good song.
Google it?
No.
No.
It's an Indian dish. He's talking about a meal.
Yes. Again, probably the syllables of the name, bud. Probably like
Here's what I'm eating. Here's what I'm reading. Here's what I'm watching.
and
Here's what my wife is
even
doing.
Grapes of Wrath I really like too. Although there's a part of that song that
Of course, that song is tailor made for you, by the way.
well,
For real.
but what also has been tailor-made
Here's a
for me
band. Here's a band you love singing about literature, which you love.
But
yeah,
by the
but
way,
it comes off
it's
as a little forced in that song. The thing that
Extremely forced.
yeah, the thing that I find
for sure.
interesting is that I'm being sent Audible like ads on Facebook with Weezer on them now because of it.
Sure.
So specifically, I was like, I had to look at the lyrics, and I'm like, is this an Audible advertisement?
Yeah.
Did he get paid to do this?
Yeah.
Is this like a affiliate link that's happening?
Imagine hooking up with Audible and be like, guys, I'll write you a song.
Yes,
Okay,
right.
I'll put it on my record.
But
You pay me.
Here's a
I'll
big
mention
thought
over and
though,
over.
and this is really important. As I'm listening to these songs, some of which I really enjoy, I found myself surprised to at how catchy they were and how much they stayed with me as the past couple weeks have gone on. All I can think about while listening to this record is why the fuck didn't they just play this song on guitars? Right? Why the fuck is the cello going?
Okay, so hold on. Hold on. Here's where I'll defend that. Here's where I'll defend that. Okay, so you are a band who's written how many ever records they've done, and doing something different for the sake of doing something different, I can get behind.
That's fair.
Even if it's just to go, hey, even if it's just to go, hey, we're gonna do this one record this way, just to kind of get it out of our systems, and it turns out whatever turns out, like whether you like it or not, it's just this is something we've wanted to do, popular or not. Okay, I agree with that, and I actually that's the one major part of this record I did enjoy is that there was no guitars on it. I actually kind of enjoyed that.
But I have to get this out of my system because this is really important to me.
Is it a poo-poo?
If maybe, let's find out. I feel like the reason I like Weezer is because they take these song progressions and strum them out in these huge guitar sounds and these like the power of the songs comes not just in the song progression and probably not as much through the lyrics, although I do like the vocal melodies and stuff. It comes out. It's got an engine in the sound of these songs, right? And so like I feel like all of these songs are pretty good, and it's a testament that look, Rivers can still write a pretty good song even after that horrible Black album. I feel like I just want to hear the demos of these songs. And it goes back to one other thing that you talked about, Josh, is that it's not just, or maybe Chris, you were saying it, it's not just the lyrics that feel a little lazy. It's sort of like you could tell they wrote these songs as a band and then just said, okay, here's the guitar part, cello. Just go ahead and play it this way. Okay,
I hear that.
Here's the
I do hear
here's
that.
here's the little keyboardy part that I played, flute. Go ahead and you can play that part. And so that it's not like they even made an orchestra version of this. Some of these songs you can tell they just swapped out instruments, and so which again makes me feel like just just give us the rock songs, and not these like ELO sort of like orchestra versions, because they don't. The orchestra versions are nice, but man, I want to hear Alu Gobi with some scorching guitars, and then that's the song of the year. I mean,
Yeah, I hear that argument, doing cello and violin for the sake of doing it. Like, just like, write a song that calls for it. Write a song that is naturally like, hey, this would be so much more improved if it was that the correct instrument that it's designed for, instead of like just copy and paste.
I
I
mean
do hear that argument.
that's what they do. I mean, like lazy
Here we
lyrics.
go. Here we go. Here we go.
They did a
Here we go.
their songwriting is exactly the same. The guy's written 1,500 songs or whatever number
Here we
that
go.
he came to, and the melody
Finish strong.
is the exact the number of Weezer songs you can find the melody. Bum bum ba da ba 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 da ba. The amount of times you can find that melody in a Weezer song is probably an infinite number. Like it every song probably has a version of that melody. Like every piece of their songwriting is like, why am I listening to this? People like it. Don't get me wrong, and I don't
I
begrudge
do.
anybody that, but like. But
Okay, so
yeah.
so the question goes back to the one other final note that I had on this is that I really like the sound of the drums on this record. Dane, where did you land on that?
I like it.
I found them to be like a really nice like rock drum set sound, really natural. Like the thwack on the snare was like really pleasing to me. But so I really want to ask this question: is this going to be something, Chris? Chris, is this going to be something that you ever come back to?
I already deleted it off of my
Great.
Apple
Great.
Music.
Okay, that's a hard no.
library.
Dane, where does this kind of sit in the pantheon of Weezer and in your 2021 records and da da da?
Yeah, I think it is pretty low in my spectrum of Weezer, although not on the not in the untouchables. So there were these albums that they released in the past decade that I really liked. The White Album was really good. As you recall, I really liked Hurley.
I really liked Hurley.
There's that album. Oh shoot, what is it called? It's got Back to the Shack on it. Like
oh yeah.
It's got a long name, and if I shut my brain up for a second, I'll be able to think of it. But
Keep talking.
I really like that. I really like that record. You know what I mean?
It's the one with the like bear on the front.
You will. Everything will be all right in the end.
Everything will be all right.
Yeah,
that was a good record too.
I love that record. Probably, I like it more than Pinkerton. You know,
wow.
Yeah, I'm saying that, and it's worth a listen. And then there was that weird covers record that seemed really stupid, and then there was that Black album that felt like it was just trying to get into a Chevy commercial. And then there's this one, and I feel like this art, like when we think of all the this is another miss for me in a small series of misses, but I still think I'll listen to the record. You know, I still like it. I will probably keep listening to it this winter, and I will probably enjoy it. But I feel like it's. I'm waiting for them to bring the hit back. You know.
All right. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I think it's somewhere. It's lower on my list of Weezer records for sure, which is so crazy because like I said, I started off being like hell yeah on this record, and then it was like, But yeah, I think what it's really forcing me to do is now go back and check other stuff that I've definitely missed, honestly, like White Album, and let me listen to the trash of the Black Album and stuff like that.
Don't worry about it.
I think, yeah, I gotta get it out of my system. All right, I think that's gonna do it for us for today for episode 3, guys. We did it. Woo! That's the trilogy's done. We are done. Yeah, I just wanted to. I kept thinking about that. Dane, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you so much for being here and participating and being angry.
If time is money,
all right.
Weezer wasted a lot of
it. That's not even a good use of that.
Yeah, it's not even good. It doesn't even work. Thanks for trying. All right, guys. So long. Take care and check, please.